Found during a walk in the Appalachians in Virginia, this is a rusted, all-metal, possibly electric device. It's about the same size as a light switch cover and most likely came from an old collapsed house or shed. It has different ratios of wire coils and what appears to be solder points. What is this vintage electrical component? This device is identified as an automotive voltage regulator, likely a very old one from the mid-20th century. Before modern alternators with internal solid-state regulators, vehicles with DC generators used external electromechanical voltage regulators like this one. It was a box containing several relays with different wire coil windings. Its job was to control the output of the generator, preventing it from overcharging the battery and ensuring a stable voltage for the car's electrical system under varying engine speeds. Its discovery near an old collapsed structure suggests an old abandoned vehicle was likely nearby at some point. Found floating around in the storage cabinet of a second-hand bandsaw, this metal tool has a rough, gritty face on a handle. What is this abrasive tool used for in a workshop? This tool is used to true up or dress a grinding wheel. Over time, the surface of a bench grinder's abrasive wheel can become uneven, loaded with metal particles, or glazed over, reducing its cutting effectiveness. This truing tool, which often has a face embedded with industrial diamonds, or is made of very hard steel, is held firmly against the face of the spinning grinding wheel. This action abrades the wheel, removing the worn surface layer, correcting its shape, and exposing fresh, sharp, abrasive grit, thus restoring the wheel's performance. Found in a basement in Germany, this round metal thing has Phillips and a bunch of numbers punched in. It has a very small, precisely sized hole in the middle that goes completely through. It measures about 25 millimeters wide by 8 millimeters high. What is this industrial tool? This object looks like a wire drawing die. Wire drawing is a metalworking process used to reduce the cross-section of a wire by pulling it through a series of dies, each with a slightly smaller hole than the last. These dies are made from extremely hard materials, like tungsten carbide or industrial diamond, to withstand the immense pressure and friction. The precisely calibrated hole in the center determines the final diameter of the wire. Phillips could be the manufacturer of the die or the company that used it. It's a fundamental tool in the manufacturing of wire. Made of plastic and about as wide as a ballpoint pen, this object was found sticking out of a punctured tire. What is this small, sturdy item? Oh man, the commenter finally knows one. This is identified as a ceramic filter for a cannabis joint, specifically from the brand Sherbinski's, which is recognizable by the orange S logo. These are small, reusable ceramic tips that are placed at the end of a hand-rolled cigarette. They provide a sturdy mouthpiece and are designed to cool the smoke and filter out some tar, similar to glass tips. Being made of ceramic, they are hard and rigid enough to puncture a tire if dropped on the road and hit at the right angle. This wooden spoke stick thing is about 10 inches long and on a twine loop. The spokes go all the way around and seem to be natural, not dowels. Guesses like back scratcher or wool processing tool seem incorrect. It was found at the Ulster American Folk Park in Northern Ireland, in a house representing historical life. What could it be? The best guess for this object is that it's an abandoned project for making a traditional wooden whisk or beater. Such whisks, used for mixing batters or frothing liquids, were often made by taking the end of a small branch, like pine or birch, and carefully splitting the wood into numerous thin tines or spokes at one end. The tines would then be spread out and held in shape by a cord or ring. This object looks like the project was started. The tines were split, but never completed by spreading and securing them, resulting in the spoke stick appearance. If you love uncovering strange and mysterious objects, hit like and subscribe. Your support genuinely helps YouTube's algorithm find more curious explorers like you. Thank you for helping us grow. Stay curious. These rusty, dangling, wire-like objects are dotted seemingly randomly along the outside brick wall of a relatively new apartment building in the U.S. Southeast. What are these dangly-doos in the brickwork? These are identified as brick ties. In a brick veneer wall, where an outer wall of bricks is built in front of a structural backup wall, often wood or concrete block. Brick ties are essential for connecting the two walls together. These triangular ties, or tri-ties, are attached to the backup wall, and the other end is laid into the mortar joint of the brick wall as it's being built. This provides lateral support to the brick veneer, preventing it from bowing or separating from the building. Why they are hanging out of the wall like this is a sign of improper or incomplete construction. This wooden briefcase is heavy and deep, but has no maker's mark anywhere. What is its origin and purpose? The commenter states, "I have one exactly like this. It's an inexpensive decorative box made to look antique." These types of faux antique wooden briefcases, chests, or boxes were very popular decorative items, often sold at home goods stores like Pier 1 or HomeSense in the 1990s and 2000s. While they are functional as storage boxes, their primary purpose is aesthetic, designed to add a rustic, vintage, or worldly vibe to a room's decor. The commenter notes they use theirs to hold yearly tax receipts, highlighting their practical use for storing documents or other items, despite their origin as a decorative, mass-produced item. Found with a metal detector in an 1880s Nevada mining camp milling pile, this small, unusual object is hollow with a small hole on top and a larger hole on the bottom. Its age is indeterminate due to the remote location sometimes being used by target shooters. What is this small, hollow artifact? The best guess for this object is that it's a cap for some kind of container, possibly a can, bottle, or flask, from the mining camp era. The raised portion would have fit into the container's opening. The bent end could have been part of a hinge, allowing the cap to flip open and closed. The larger hole might have held a cork or rubber seal to make the container airtight or leak-proof. Its discovery in a milling pile, where ore was processed, in an 1880s mining camp, is consistent with it being a remnant of a provision container used by the miners. These rusted metal wire hooks are found under the edge of the grass in a backyard. They seem to be going under the lawn. The finder wonders if they are supposed to hold up the grass or are just leftover trash from planters. What are they? These are identified as leftover hooks, most likely from hanging planters or decorative garden items. These types of sturdy wire hooks, often with a shepherd's hook design or a simple J shape, are pushed into the ground to provide a point from which to hang baskets of flowers, bird feeders, or garden lanterns. It's common for these to be left in place and eventually become overgrown with grass or forgotten, especially if they break or the item they were holding is removed. They are simply abandoned pieces of old garden hardware. This metal clip-like thing was found with a grandmother's old Singer sewing machine from 1928. It's about the length of a palm and was stored with spare needles and presser feet. What is this specific sewing machine attachment? This metal clip is a part of the vintage Singer tucking foot attachment. The tucker was a clever accessory that allowed a seamstress to create perfect, evenly spaced decorative tucks or pleats in fabric. This attachment usually came with several parts, including a special presser foot and this marking arm or guide. The complete attachment would not only sew a perfect tuck, but, as the commenter notes, it would also simultaneously mark the precise location for the next parallel tuck, ensuring flawless and consistent spacing. It's a wonderful example of the precision engineering of vintage sewing machine accessories. This blue, velvety material and gold fabric-trimmed thing is the size and shape of a handheld mirror, but is soft and velvety on both sides. It was found with a mom's old stuff, likely from the 50s to 70s. One side is smooth velvet, and the other has pearls sewn on. It reminds the finder of a lint remover but seems too soft. What is it? The finder's initial thought is correct. This is likely a vintage lint and hair remover, probably from the 1970s. Before the advent of modern sticky tape lint rollers, brushes with directional velvet or velour fabric pads were very common. The nap of the fabric is angled in such a way that when brushed in one direction, it effectively picks up and holds on to lint, hair, and dust. When brushed in the opposite direction, the debris is released for cleaning. The pearled side would be purely decorative, making it a stylish accessory to keep on a vanity or dresser. This wooden whale, found in a vacation condo in Destin, Florida, has a leather tail. Inside are two discs and a small wooden dowel rod. Sunglasses are shown for scale. Does this whimsical wooden object have a practical purpose? Yes, this charming wooden whale is a drink coaster holder. The two discs inside are the coasters themselves, and the main body of the whale serves as a decorative holder to store them when not in use. The small wooden dowel rod likely acts as a spindle or divider to keep the coaster separated and organized within the whale's body. It's a fun, nautical-themed piece of home decor, perfectly suited for a vacation condo in a coastal location like Destin, Florida, blending function with a playful design. Needing something long and thin, the finder's wife pulled this out of her small tool drawer. It has a pokey metal point on one end and a bumpy grip on the other, but neither of them knows where it came from. What is this object? This object is identified as a dart, but it is missing its flights. The pokey on one end is the metal point of the dart, designed to stick into a dartboard. The bumpy on the other end is the barrel, which is knurled or textured to provide a good grip for the thrower. The very end of the barrel would have slots into which the flights, the small, fin-like stabilizers, usually made of plastic or feathers, would be inserted. Without the flights, the dart is incomplete, but its basic components are still recognizable. This little ceramic frog was thought to be a pipe, but the two openings, one likely on top of the head, the other a stem, don't have a bowl. They just meet inside its empty, hollow body. What is this peculiar ceramic frog? This ceramic frog is identified as a novelty drink vessel, a popular souvenir from Guanajuato, Mexico. The name Guanajuato is said to mean place of the frogs in the local indigenous language, which explains the prevalence of frog-themed souvenirs. A blog post confirms that these ceramic frogs, with a hole in the head and a protruding stem, were filled with a drink, possibly a local spirit or flavored beverage. The user would drink the contents through the stem-like mouthpiece. It's a whimsical and culturally specific piece of tourist pottery, designed to be both a container and a keepsake. These metal objects, weighing about 5 lbs each, have a locking mechanism that holds an angled piece securely in one of 3 angles. They were found with other construction equipment and have no labels. What are these heavy-duty, adjustable brackets used for? These are identified as roofing scaffolding holder thingies, more formally known as roof jacks or roofing brackets. They are a critical piece of safety equipment for anyone working on a steeply pitched roof. The flat part of the bracket is nailed securely to the roof sheathing. The adjustable, angled part is then set to be level with the ground, and a long wooden plank, a 206 or 208, is laid across a series of these brackets. This creates a temporary, secure platform, or scaffolding, allowing roofers to stand safely, hold their tools, and prevent themselves and their materials from sliding down the roof. This tool, found in a farm shed in the Midwestern USA, is approximately 6 feet long. Its specific shape isn't fully detailed, but its length and farm shed context suggest a utilitarian purpose. What is this long-handled tool? This 6-foot-long tool is identified as an old clinker grabber. Clinkers are hard, glassy lumps of fused ash, unburnt fuel, and impurities that form in coal-fired stoves, furnaces, or forges. They can block airflow and reduce the efficiency of the fire. A clinker grabber is a long-handled tool, often with a pincer, hook, or spade-like end, designed to allow the user to reach deep into a hot firebox to break up and remove these clinkers without getting burned. Its long length is essential for safety when tending a hot coal fire. This plastic tab-like object with a face on it mysteriously appeared in a crushed limestone driveway in South Texas, likely exposed by rain. The bottom is a semi-hard rubber, and the top is plastic with a statue-like face profile. Reverse image search was unhelpful. What is this thing? These are identified as earplugs, specifically a type that has a more decorative or stylized end tab. The semi-hard rubber part would be the portion that is compressed and inserted into the ear canal to block sound. The plastic tab with the face profile is the grip or handle used to insert and remove the earplug. Some brands of reusable earplugs offer more distinctive designs on their stems or tabs than the simple corded or flange types, making them slightly more personalized or easier to find if dropped. This item was bought from an old workshop and is possibly automotive related. It has a long metal rod and a top made of resin or plastic with no markings. What is this vintage car accessory? Apparently, this is a car fender guide, also known as a fender marker or curb feeler, though curb feelers are usually lower. These were accessories, popular from the 1940s through the 1960s, that were mounted on the front fenders of a car, usually on the passenger side. The tall, visible rod, with an often illuminated or decorative top, the resin plastic part, helped the driver judge the position of the front corner of the car, which was often difficult to see from the driver's seat on the large, bulbous cars of that era. This aided in parking and maneuvering in tight spaces without scraping the fender. This metal thingy, about 7 centimeters, 2 inches long, comes with door handle kits. The instructions show it but don't name it or illustrate any specific use for it. What is this small but essential tool for? This small metal rod appears to be a release tool for the door handle. Many modern interior door handles and knobs, particularly those with a privacy lock, like for a bedroom or bathroom, have a design where the handle is secured to the internal mechanism without visible screws. To remove the handle for installation, reversal, or repair, you need to depress a small spring-loaded detent pin, which is usually located in a tiny hole on the shank of the handle. This tool, essentially a sturdy pin or a thin rod, is provided specifically for pressing that detent, allowing the handle to be released and pulled off the spindle. This metal thing is on a pub wall in the UK. It's a display board, about 60 centimeters by 60 centimeters, made of wood and metal, with 5 hook-like things and mechanical-looking nuts and bolts. A sign has 200 on it, but the rest is scrubbed out. Letters U and D are stenciled on the panel. What are these industrial components? These are definitely identified as electrical contactors. A contactor is a heavy-duty electrically controlled switch used for switching a power circuit, similar to a relay but for higher currents. The coils in the center, when energized, create a magnetic field that closes or opens the high current contacts at the top. The stenciled U and D, likely for up and down, strongly suggest these could have been the main motor control contactors for an old elevator, lift, or a crane chart hoist, used to reverse the direction of the powerful electric motor that raises and lowers the cab or hook. The display is a fascinating piece of industrial electrical history. Found in a school science lab, these 2 copper water baths each have a heating element below. Their most distinctive feature is a set of concentric, removable lids that open in widening diameters to accommodate different-sized objects. Each is approximately 27 centimeters tall. What is this piece of lab equipment used for? This is a laboratory steam bath or water bath. It's used for gently and uniformly heating substances in a laboratory setting. Water in the copper basin is heated by the element below, producing steam and hot water. The set of concentric rings acts as the lid. You can remove 1 or more rings to create an opening of the perfect size to support a round bottom flask, beaker, or evaporating dish, allowing it to be heated by the steam or hot water below without direct, harsh contact with the heating element. This provides very controlled and even heating, which is ideal for distillation, refluxing reactions, or safely evaporating solvents. Noticed while driving eastbound on I-10 northwest of Wilcox, AZ, this huge, shiny, silver, can-looking object was visible from over 30 miles away. What is this massive, reflective structure? This massive, shiny object is identified simply as a telescope. More specifically, given its location in Arizona, known for clear skies and astronomy, and its immense size, this is likely a very large research telescope, possibly part of a major observatory complex. The shiny silver can appearance would be the observatory dome, which is often painted with reflective materials to minimize solar heating during the day and protect the sensitive instruments inside. Large astronomical observatories are often situated on mountaintops in remote locations to get above the thickest parts of the atmosphere and away from light pollution, making them visible from great distances. Found in a driveway, this 1.5-inch metal part has a threaded bottom, a split, cup-like top, and a hole above the threading. The finder guesses it might be for car audio or an air compressor. What is this precision-made mechanical part? This is a universal drive shaft, also known as a dog bone or a CV, constant velocity joint, for a hobby-grade radio control RC car. These are used to transmit power from the differentials to the wheels, and the universal joint design, the split cup-like top, allows them to do so even as the suspension moves up and down and the wheels are steered. They are precision-made parts, and their discovery in a driveway is common, as they can sometimes break or come loose during high-speed runs or crashes of a hobbyist's RC car. This silicon plate is approximately 14 inches across, 1 4-inch thick, and drilled with hundreds of holes. It's extremely reflective and was found during an estate cleanout in Silicon Valley. It's much too thick and holey to be a standard silicon wafer, used for making chips. What is this specialized piece of high-tech manufacturing equipment? This perforated silicon plate is identified as a silicon electrode, specifically one used to distribute gas in a dry etching process for semiconductor manufacturing. Dry etching is a critical step where material is removed from a silicon wafer to create circuit patterns. In some plasma etching systems, a shower head electrode like this one is used at the top of the chamber. Process gases are introduced through the hundreds of small holes in the electrode, ensuring a uniform distribution of the gas and plasma over the surface of the silicon wafer being processed below. It's a high-precision component from a very expensive piece of semiconductor fabrication equipment. Found in a tool storage closet, these are white plastic items made of PSHI, high-impact polystyrene. They are approx. 6 inches long with a slit along one side and a hooked end. A garlic is used for scale. What are these clip-on plastic pieces for? These white plastic items are possibly refrigerator door shelf dividers. Many refrigerators have long shelves or bins on the inside of the door for holding jars, bottles, and cartons. Dividers like these, with a hooked end to clip onto the rail of the shelf and a long body, can be slid into place to partition the shelf space. This helps to keep items organized, upright, and prevents them from sliding around or tipping over when the refrigerator door is opened and closed. Wired into the ceiling at Scotiabank Arena, a large sports and entertainment venue, these white boxes are a mystery. The finder knows they are not speakers or lights. What is the purpose of these numerous ceiling-mounted white boxes in a large public venue? These white boxes are panel Wi-Fi antennas, providing reliable, high-capacity Wi-Fi coverage to tens of thousands of users simultaneously in a large, dense environment like an arena is a major technical challenge. Instead of using a few powerful omnidirectional antennas, these venues use a distributed antenna system, DAS, with many smaller directional panel antennas like these. They are strategically placed throughout the seating areas and concourses to create smaller coverage cells, ensuring that all spectators have a strong signal and that the network capacity is not overwhelmed. Found in a workshop, this pair of solid metal items could be from one of 3 generations of owners. What are these sturdy, likely structural metal components? These solid metal items are identified as roof jacks, also known as adjustable post shores or temporary support columns. They are used in construction and renovation to provide temporary support to overhead structures like beams, joists, or arches. A common use is to support the ceiling and roof structure when a load-bearing wall is being removed or a new beam is being installed. They consist of a heavy-duty steel column with a screw mechanism that allows for precise adjustment of their height and the load they are supporting. Their robust construction is essential for their safety-critical role. These new solar-powered cameras are appearing around a city, some on traffic light poles and some on their own dedicated poles. The finder suspects they might be license plate readers. Is this correct? The finder's suspicion is likely correct. These are license plate reader, LPR, or automatic number plate recognition, ANPR, cameras. Law enforcement agencies and municipalities use these systems for various purposes. They automatically capture images of license plates of passing vehicles and convert them into text. This data can then be checked against databases for stolen vehicles, cars associated with wanted persons, e.g., Amber Alerts, or unpaid fines. They are also used for traffic flow analysis and investigations, allowing police to search for vehicles that were in a specific area at a specific time. Their solar power capability allows for deployment in locations without easy access to mains power. If you love uncovering strange and mysterious objects, hit that like button and subscribe. Stay curious. More finds coming soon.